Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Petal. Hope you are doing great, having a fantastic day. And my goodness, I know that we're all still dining out on these photos. Go ahead and dine, enjoy your meal, and oh my goodness, it just it's just beautiful. I am so happy that in spite of all the drama, as we knew, I mean, 2 days ago we were talking about we knew what the British press was gonna do. Nothing that they've done is a surprise. They've been falling over a cliff as we expected them to be. They've been drumming up drama to where Jamaicans are calling them just bitter. I saw this podcast, I guess it was a podcast where the one of the hosts was like, they're just bitter, bitter, bitter. I'm like, yep, that's exactly what the British press is. They're just bitter. So, but I mean, what an incredible time. It seemed like they had a great time. Well, yeah, I'm assuming they're probably back home now, or who knows, maybe just hanging out in Jamaica for a while. I wouldn't blame anybody for hanging out in Jamaica for a while. So, whatever. And apparently they were invited by Brian Robbins and his wife. He is the head of I think Paramount and also Nickelodeon. And so they were invited. Apparently they're friends. Their families are friends. And so they were invited by him to come to the premiere. And I mean, what an incredible thing to just show up, at least to the regular folks don't know, but the police knew. That I'm sure the prime minister knew, and everyone else, especially the press, and of course, that has just been the ire of the British press, that they don't know anything, and they had to wake up to a narrative that was already formed, and they had they had to come in with whatever they did. And so we knew it was going to come. We were all laughing about it 2 nights ago, and so obviously that's exactly, I mean, we literally could have written their narrative. So, but they all seemed to have a great time, so I hope they did. At least from my angle, it looked like they had a good time. So, and I look forward to the movie coming out on February 14th. Obviously, it's Valentine's Day. And so we're going to have One Love on Valentine's Day. So I'm assuming that's a worldwide. I'm hoping they're dropping it on streaming as well, so you can see it in the movies, or you can just stream it, which I hope. So I'm not a big going to the movie fan, so I look forward to seeing it. I look forward to really getting to know about the life in depth, really, of Bob Marley. And so yeah, fantastic time with the prime minister. I know that's one of the part that the British press are falling all over themselves. How could Harry and Meghan have gone to the country of an anti-royal prime minister? He is anti-royal, wanted to kick us to the curb. How dare they take a picture? How dare they laugh and smile with him? How dare they? And I saw this interview where one guy, I guess it was a PR guy, had to remind two very clueless GB News reporters. I don't know how these people get jobs, being press. Had to remind them that Prince Charles, when he was, at the time he was Prince Charles, was in Barbados when they kicked the Queen to the curb and they became a republic. Prince Charles was there. So why are you complaining that Harry and Meghan are in Jamaica? They're not even a republic yet. So it's very funny. But I guess they forgot that part, which didn't fit the narrative, I guess. But anyway, so again, dine out all you want. Next episode, I'll have a little bit more about this. But very, very exciting. And of course, another great thing that happened last week before they went to Jamaica, before we even knew about Jamaica, obviously, is the Living Legends of Aviation. I thought the picture with John Travolta and Jeff Bezos and his fiance Lauren Sanchez was amazing, and also John Travolta. But look at this. I mean, it screams old money. Old money California to me. I don't know. It just literally just screams it. But I love it. I absolutely love it. And I realize that I haven't really gone through and really focused on the bios of these guys. So I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to go in and find out who these guys are. I mean, look at this. Look at Harry among these men. It's just, And he's obviously the youngest of all of them, but he just belonged. And I love it. And I love how they welcome him and embraced him. And I mean, the humility of these men who have accomplished so much. And I love it. And one of the people that he encountered, and we didn't know until he posted about it on his Instagram, is this gentleman, Kenneth Richie. And, it's so funny. I go back to the British press talking about the event and basically calling people D-listers and all. I mean, it was so ignorant. Just like incredibly ignorant statements of people who know nothing and know nothing about these people. And it's really going. This is one of the reasons I want to go back and just look at their resume. So this is a little bit about his resume. I was like, look at this guy's resume. Kenneth Richie is a 38-year aviation industry veteran who today is a principal of Directional Aviation Capital, who owns various aviation enterprises, including FlexJet, Sentient Jet, Private Fly, Nextant Aerospace, Stonebriar Commercial Finance, Rev Air Ambulance, Simcom, and Constant Aviation. I mean, this guy owns a lot of stuff, and it's amazing. And so it says Ken began his aviation career as an Air Force ROTC cadet at the University of Notre Dame and started his first company, Corporate Wings, in 1980. He was an airline transport pilot with extensive international experience and was Governor William Clinton's pilot. That's when he ran for president in 1982. He was Bill Clinton's pilot when he ran for president. And I was just like, I'm telling you. He has assembled one of the largest group of private aviation companies, which together account for over $2 billion in revenue, operate over 150 aircraft, and employ over 2,000 individuals. I'm like, this man is amazing. Ken was honored as an Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year in 2000 and was named one of the most influential people in aviation by Aviation International. In 2010, Ken received the Harvard Business School's Diversity Entrepreneurship, and in 2012 was the youngest recipient of the prestigious William Ong Award for Extraordinary Achievement and Extended Meritorious Service of the general aviation industry. He was also the founder of Nextion Aerospace, an innovator of aircraft manufacturing. In 2015, Ken received the Aviation Week Network Laureate Award, a benchmark of industry excellence, recognizing his work and development at Nextion. He received a Lifetime Aviation Entrepreneurship Award for the Living Legends of Aviation. In 2016, there you go. In 2014, the Northeast Ohio chapter of Cystic Fibrosis honored Ken for championing research and treatment of the disease, which affects 30,000 children and adults in the United States. Ken graduated from the University of Notre Dame and recently announced the first ever $100 million gift to the university. That's right, this guy is donating $100 million to his alma mater, Notre Dame. He also graduated from Cleveland Marshall Law School of Law, where he was named as their Distinguished Alumni of the Year in 2016. He was named the Alumni Hall of Fame in 2018. Ken serves as the Board of Trustee for the University of Notre Dame, the Smithsonian, and the University Hospitals. Ken managed strategies for future features in Wall Street Journal, and he's the author of Management by Trust, a book featuring practical management techniques for building employee trust and success. These people are amazing. I'm like, I read this and I was like, are you serious? And here, if you look at his post on Instagram, he was just like the most humble, just so grateful to be in that, at the award ceremony, so grateful to meet Harry, and just talked about just what a wonderful time they had, and what a wonderful time. And so he was so honored to be a part of it. He's like, this was one of the best ones. And it was just like, you see that. And then you read this, you read this recipe and you're like, holy moly. I'm telling you, Harry, this is your up. This is what you want to, this is what you want to imitate, and you look at, Harry's resume is amazing, but, you look at this and you're like, whoa. And these are the people, again, these are the people that those in the UK are referring to as D-listers. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And so I am just like, I hope that, I'm assuming since Harry is now part of it, that, he gets to spend really great time with these incredible men and women. And again, they're all pilots. And again, look at his experience. I mean, he was the pilot for Bill Clinton when he was running for president. And it was just like, hello, talk about connections. And so, and again, and then you look at his philanthropic work, you look at the charities that he's a part of and his funds, and it's really all, all of that, what he is and what he does is right up the thing that Harry is doing. And so you understand even more, as I read this, I understood even more why Harry felt like so honored to be among them. And so a lot of people were like, oh, but he's a royal. I was like, yeah, but that's something that's given. He didn't earn it. This man earned what he has, and this is what Harry wants to do. He always said that he always wanted to feel like he's earned their accolades and he's earned the whatever he has. And this is your up. These are the people you want to be around. These are the people that, I expect him to be around so he can learn and grow and be able to emulate. So I am like, Mr. Richie, you are awesome, dude. And it just, I'm looking forward to reading the other bios at length and see, and getting to learn who these people are. They're absolutely amazing. So, and talk about Shutter Island. Switching over to Shutter Island. Last episode, I think it was the last episode I did this. We talked about this. The UK bottom of the league table for trust in media. And so this is a yearly, I think they do this yearly, about countries that have, major media and major press, world press especially, and the level of trust people have in these news outlets. And again, for the how many times, the UK is at the bottom of that list. And in every single time, the UK has earned the bottom of the list status. And I dare say that even when they're not at the bottom, they earned and deserve to be at the bottom of that list. And you look at the US, the US is not even, they're not too far away from the bottom either. And I used to have such faith in the US press, and it's no more. The level of lack of trust is at 31 for the UK and 39 for the US. Not much separates them. But I'm telling you, the UK press, just in every way, shape, or form, they have been doing the most to earn the most lying, unethical, untrustworthy, just despicable, deplorable, pick an adjective that's horrible, and you can put the UK press right there. And it's unbelievable that they are allowed to get away with this. And not only that it is despicable, it's the reason why Jamaica is just flattening them right now and just calling them out for just how deplorable they are, is that it brings the rest of the country down, because people are looking at their behavior and then they judge the rest of the country based on the deplorable behavior of the UK press. And so it's remarkable to me that, again, there are no mirrors there, so that no one has the self-awareness to be like, okay, this is horrible, and it makes my country look bad, so let me stop. No, none whatsoever. And don't you dare bring up the fact that they need to look in the mirror and have some little bit of self-reflection. Nothing. They would chew you out. How dare you? But in every way, shape and form, they earn that title. And the relationship with the royal family, the invisible contract that they have with the royal family, that they use the royal family, and the royal family use them to put out whatever ridiculous propaganda that they want. And you could be like, well, Petal People is an American news outlet. Yes, it is. But they have correspondents in the UK. And, for a while their editor was also UK. And this actually pieces from their reporters in the UK, the People reporters in the UK. And of course, the people have been reporting a lot about, obviously, the royal family, and they're on their cover just about all the time, or almost, especially Kate. And so the relationship between them is like, you could see how they are using each other to get stories, and the other trying to cover up things. And it's just like, yo, if you just tell the truth, you don't have to jump through all of these hoops. Just tell the truth. Frankly, I don't care why, not that I don't care. I don't want to sound harsh that somebody is in the hospital and having surgery. At least that's what they said and all that stuff. I'm not insensitive to that. But I am irritated when people lie, and they're lying, and they're covering up stuff. And it's just like, well, just tell the truth. That's all you need to do. Then you don't have to tell a lie to cover up that lie, and then tell a blanket lie to cover up all the lies you've told and it's just like, aren't you exhausted? So one of the things that they did, when they announced that Kate was in the hospital, that William is going to be visiting her, and the kids were going to be visiting her, and all of that stuff. And then the next day, nothing happened. And then the day after that, we saw William go in and visit. Actually, we saw photos of him leaving. And we talked about this, if the guy in the back car was Christian Jones or not. Still don't know. I think it is, but some people think it's not, but who knows? And so then that happened, and then nothing, because their press was saying that, oh, you're going to see William going to be visiting, and the kids are going to be there to visit and to cheer her up and all of this stuff. And basically, not in those words, but that was the gist of what they wanted us to believe. So they just had this thing where, the way how they said it, everyone expected to see photos of William and the children, especially over the weekend because it's not school, going to visit. And all of a sudden there wasn't. And it's just like, okay, is anybody visiting her? And so we were talking about it here. All of the internet were talking about it. Wait a minute. You only saw William went to visit her 2 days after her surgery, because apparently her surgery was on Tuesday. He didn't visit her Wednesday. He visited her in front of the camera on Thursday. And that's it. And then over the weekend, when they were sort of promising that the kids are going to be, then nothing. And so it's just like, wait a minute. Is she? Because I even had these questions like, is she actually at the hospital? Is she really having surgery? And then we were talking about all those doctors were like, the length of stay is a little bit, I don't know. A couple of doctors, and then more and more professionals were like, that's a little weird. And, the length of stay and also the time for recuperating is a little weird. And people were like having legitimate questions. And again, I'm not here for people having to reveal all of their stuff. They don't want to talk about it, don't want to talk about it. But when people are lying to you. And so all of a sudden, a couple of days ago, this out of the blue, this pops up. Former patient at Kate Middleton's hospital details recovery after abdominal surgery. It's a bit scary at first. An insider tells people about his experience at the London clinic. These are some excerpts from that article. 1. Children are not allowed to visit the London clinic without permission from the matrons, which the insider says is due to negative pressure to keep infections at bay. Now, the part of the article, it says, one day, my son, that's the guy who's saying that, that's the guy who they're claiming that is saying all these things that, about his abdominal surgery. The guy says, one day my son's turned up with his wife and we didn't know the rule. And they kindly made an exception and let him come in to see me. But he found it really scary. So I am not sure I would do that again, he says, of the experience. He goes on to say, the insider said the room was lovely and big and a spare bed was brought in for his wife. And so I have a lot of questions when I saw this. One, How did they all of a sudden, out of the blue, people, a tabloid, and don't at me because some of you are like, no, it's not a tabloid, it's a magazine, I don't care. They report like tabloids, so for me, it's a tabloid. And out of the blue, they found someone who just happened to be a person that had an abdominal surgery at that very, very hospital. What are the chances that some tabloid in the UK are going to find someone at that very right? It's like they went scrolling through the London clinics, past patient, and oh yeah, that's him. Let's talk to him, and he's gonna tell us his experience. The whole article is about. I'm telling you, they just flowered that hospital with so much praise. You know, when people do that, is that they're doing you a favor, and you're just doing something for them to, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. One of those. And I could be wrong, but that's what it seemed. I mean, there's so much, this supposed guy, this supposed insider, had so much praise for the hospital, and everything was beautiful and sweet. And everybody was just like, candies and flowers. It's just like, I just want to move in and let them take care of me for the rest of my life. The way this guy is talking about this hospital, this supposed insider. And it just screams of, I have secrets and I want you to hold it. And so for you holding it, I'm going to say all these really, really, really nice things about your clinic. And again, I could be wrong, but that's how we come across to me. And just at the time where we were like, where are the children? And why haven't they visited her? Where are her family? We talked about the entrances and exits. I'm like, there is no way, because when we talked about it the last time, we talked about the cameras that were set up out front that, according to Dominic, I think it's Dominic whatever from GB News, I think that's what his name is, I could be wrong. He said we wouldn't be reporting here if we weren't invited to do so. And he was very clear about that when people were questioning why they were reporting outside of that clinic. And so we were like, wait a minute, their cameras are out there. Why? They would have recorded the family going in and out, whether it's Kate and her kids or William and the kids or family, her parents or whatever. How come we haven't seen, unless they have a second entrance, a back entrance and exit and nobody knows? But I'm like, this is the British press. We're talking about British paparazzi, the most invasive, obnoxious people in the world. They will find that exit and entrance to photograph. And nothing. And so everyone was like, there is something very fishy. Why aren't there photos? So the kids aren't going. So that the loudness of that, where are the kids and why aren't they visiting and all of those things. And all of a sudden we get this, oh yeah, kids are not allowed. So let's just shut that down, why the kids aren't visited. Let's find someone an insider who has had the same surgery, even though we don't really know what kind of abdominal surgery Kate has, because there are countless ones. And how did this person exactly? They claim that the recovery time is around the same, so that's why they said he is probably he was a good one to speak to, I guess. Hey, anyways. So happened when all the noise started coming up and getting louder about why the children aren't visiting, we get the, oh yes, children aren't allowed. And when my son came, he was very upset. And so I will not do that again. So let's just cover over the fact that they weren't visiting Kate. Let's put that out there so people will stop asking why my kids aren't visiting me. And it's like, oh, it was really scary for him. I wouldn't do it again. Very interesting that they put in the article that their room was really lovely and they put in a spare bed for his wife. Does that mean William has been staying over? We haven't heard anything. And not only that, when they realized that people weren't really buying that nonsense, because everybody was like, what is this? All of a sudden, out of all the 50, how many million people in the UK, you just zeroed in on that one person who just happens to have the same kind of surgery in the same hospital that can tell us exactly why Kate's family aren't there. People aren't buying that nonsense. So here we have today. in jumps Hello to tell us more about why. The real reason Kate's hospital stay is shrouded in secrecy. The press are not allowed to camp outside the London clinic where Kate is recuperating. The article goes on to say the Princess of Wales has been quietly recovering in hospital since she underwent successful abdominal surgery on Tuesday last week. And while members of the press were allowed to report from outside the London clinic on the day that Kensington Palace announced Kate's health news, media have not been allowed to station themselves outside the Merbon Hospital since. So since last Wednesday, that Kensington Palace put out this notice that Kate is in the hospital, that there, and there they allowed the photographers and the news to report from there. From that day on, they have banned it. They are not allowed. So that's why we haven't seen any pictures. That's why we haven't seen any people going and coming from that hospital. That's why, because they're banned. Maybe they put the Metropolitan Police there to guard the area to make sure no press is there so that they don't invade, other patients' privacy. So since last Wednesday, no press, except the date that Kensington Palace put out this notice was the 17th. Last Wednesday was the 17th. That was the day that Hello is trying to tell us that after the 17th, they were banned and nobody can be there. Except William didn't show up on that day. William showed up on the 18th, the next day. Because as you can see in the highlights, Kensington Palace they put out their statement, highlighted there the 17th. Let's use one of their own paper, their own Royal Rhoda tabloid that they love so much, The Sun. Look at The Sun's date in green, the 18th. We have photos of William and who we think is Christian Jones in the back. Some people don't. But here they are leaving the clinic on the 18th, Thursday the 18th. One day after Hello is trying to convince us that they couldn't be there and they weren't allowed to be there. So then how did these photographers from The Sun and all the world media, really, how were they allowed to be there the following day? Says Prince William has been seen visiting Kate Middleton in hospital following her abdominal surgery. The doting Prince of Wales, 41, arrived at the London hospital after I guess I accidentally cut off there, to see his wife as she recovers from planned procedure. There they are leaving. And then their other favorite paper, The People, again, look at the date, January 18th. It says, Prince William is supporting his wife, Kate Middleton, in the hospital as she recovers from abdominal surgery on Thursday, not Wednesday, as Hello wants us to believe. On Thursday, the 18th, the Prince of Wales, 41, paid a visit to his wife in the hospital after Kensington Palace announced on Wednesday, the day before, that the Princess of Wales, 42, underwent a planned abdominal surgery the previous day. So she had a surgery the Tuesday. Kensington Palace announced it the Wednesday, the 17th, and here is William visiting on Thursday, the 18th. And people even went further. Prince William was photographed leaving the private London clinic at around 12:35 p.m. local time on Thursday, the 18th. He drove himself out of the hospital, according to UK newspaper The Telegraph. Here we have it. Again, a day after Hello is trying to tell us, no. I guess somebody forgot they forgot to match up their dates and times here. Because the world press was there reporting, and if they had a problem, they certainly hadn't said anything. They were all reporting William photographing. We have photograph and video evidence of him on the 18th. So this whole nonsense of, the press could have only been there on the 17th is nonsense. And so the funny thing with this whole nonsense is, again, the noise about this is loud. How do I know it's loud? I literally, just before I came on here, saw a clip of a video from Rebecca English claiming that she was on the way to some kind of clinic for a medical procedure, and she alone, it seems, happened to see Prince William driving by on his way to visit Kate. Nobody else on earth, it seems, saw William driving to go see Kate, but a royal sycophant who is the mouthpiece of the royal family, is the mouthpiece of Kate and William, just happened to be going on to her medical visit in that area, whatever area that hospital is. And she just happened to be there at just the right time to see Prince William driving by on his way to visit Kate. They even asked her, "Oh, did you wave?" She's like, "Oh, no, I didn't wave. I was just so shocked." And it's just such a coincidence, right? That your mouthpiece in the Daily Mail happens to be the only one that saw you driving to visit Kate. But nobody else saw it. And nobody else can report it because they're not allowed to report it, and they're not allowed to report outside the clinic. They really think people are stupid. And maybe, you know what? Kate Middleton is a Daily Mail reader. So I'm assuming she just assumed that the rest of the Daily Mail readers are just as stupid. Because you have to be really stupid to even, you're thinking, seriously? You really, really think people would believe this nonsense? And they really do. They really do believe it. And it's just wild. And it's just this whole nonsense again. Whether Kate Middleton is there or not, I have serious doubts as to whether she's at the hospital. And now even serious doubts about really why she's in that hospital. Did she really get surgery? Are there other things that are happening? Then it's just huh. But moving on, British press, man, earning their award. And talk about British press earning their award. We talked about this. I think it was either the last episode or 2 episodes ago about this. The Guardian, seemingly one of the better, more informed and more mainstream press that would more times than none give you accurate or semi-accurate information. They did this article that we looked at the last time, defending and why the world and why we should feel sorry for the Mirror tabloid, because it's on its last legs, basically. And this is some of what they wrote in The Guardian. From the bot reporter to the loss of the legendary editor, the Daily Mail is hanging by a thread. More than 700 journalists lost their job at the publisher of the Daily Mirror last year. Staff numbers are down by a third in total since 2016, but it took the loss of just one to highlight the mess the company is in. The departure of Alison Phillips as editor-in-chief at the end of this month is like the raven leaving the tower, as one former executive put it. Prophecies about the fall of the print kingdom are not new, and readers may struggle to care much about the fate of a tabloid. Yes, it's a tabloid, found by a court just last month to have hacked Prince Harry's phone. Yes, this is the same news outlet that they're vouching for here. That they hacked Prince Harry's phone, yet the saga of Reach, the publisher of the Daily Mirror, the Express, yes, that Express, as well as 120 local newspaper, matters. We should care about this tabloid that goes around hacking, blagging, destroying people's lives. And then we have the Express, who is like demon child of the Mirror. If you could, if something could be worse than the Mirror, the Daily Mail, the Sun, all put together, yes, the Express. And the world is supposed to be really upset that these people are hanging by a thread. It goes on to say, for the publishing local newspapers, where cuts have been savage, as well as the only newspaper to have consistently backed the Labour Party since the end of the First World War, Reach historic titles are particularly important. That's right. It's important in an election year. This wretched tabloid, we are to believe, is important in an election year. Launched in 1903, these titles were written by and for a narrow elite. The Mirror, left of center politics and working class support, caused historian A.J.P. Taylor to say that the English people had at last found their voice. They found their voice in a wretched tabloid. That's right. And that's what The Guardian wants us to believe. So let's look at the Mirror in action here. Because we looked at it the other day, this article published yesterday. Kate Middleton, your best friend 1 minute and worst enemy the next, expert claims. Royal expert has likened Kate's personality to Princess Diana and claims she can be your best friend 1 minute and your worst enemy the next. That was published yesterday. By today, they changed. I'm like, this is like a horrible comedy. Anyways, today, as you can see, the day, January 25th, 2024, Prince Harry, your best friend 1 minute and worst enemy the next. A royal expert likened Harry's personality, it's no longer it's Kate, it's Harry's personality to Princess Diana and claims he can be your best friend 1 minute, but your worst enemy the next. So yesterday, the 24th, it was Kate, and today it's Harry. That's the best friend 1 minute and worst enemy. Oh, it gets better. Let's go in and look a little bit about what the articles say for each Harry and the Princess of Wales. On the left, the Princess of Wales could be your best friend 1 minute and your worst enemy the next, according to expert. Kate at the bottom there, Kate and William. Notice the article started, it just said Kate can be. But then when you go in the body, it says, and William. Kate and William have been married almost 11 years and will celebrate their wedding anniversary on April 29th. The 42-year-old royal is currently recovering from abdominal surgery at a plush London hospital and is expected to have her husband close by her side as she takes a break from royal duty. Now, a royal commentator has offered an apparent behind-the-scenes glance at their marriage and has even compared the two of them to the late Princess Diana. That was yesterday. Today, Prince Harry could be your best friend 1 minute and your worst enemy the next, according to the royal expert. The Duke of Sussex and William, notice the article literally just said the Duke of Sussex, doesn't say anything about William. The Duke of Sussex and William, Prince of Wales, have endured a fractious relationship in recent years after a string of major public fallouts. Now, a royal commentator has offered an apparent behind-the-scenes glance at the state and of play with the brothers' relationship and has even compared the two of them to the late Princess Diana. Just like, okay. So you see what is happening. They literally just, all they did was swapped out Kate and just stick in Harry. And William is nowhere in the headline of this. Oh, it even gets better. Robert Jobson, that's right, Robert Jobson, author of Diana Closely Guarded Secret, wrote in a recent article for the Daily Mail that a courtier had told him they both had quite an extreme mood, just as Diana did. She could be your best friend 1 minute and the next your worst enemy. Unbelievable. So this is, again, I mean, we talked the other day about Angela Levin, of all the examples that Angela Levin could have picked to describe William and Kate about how, how he's going to take care of her while having had the surgery and all of that stuff. And of all the things that she picked to, as a reference, she referenced Diana. She referenced when Diana was having mental challenges because of the abuse that she received, because Charles and Camilla and all that whole mess and what they did to her. And she likened, that scenario. She chose that scenario to be like, well, William took care of his mom then, so now he's really equipped as an adult to take care of Kate now. Why did she choose that? And then why is the Mirror bringing this up now? But then you switch over to Harry and you realize, like, oh, they literally just switched names. Robert Jobson, author of Diana Closely Guarded Secret, wrote in a recent article that courtier had told him that both have quite extreme mood swings, just as Diana did. She can be your best friend 1 minute and next your worst enemy. And then this part is under both of the articles. And because they've taken away the Kate part of it, and now all that's on their website is under Harry's, you could have thinking that they're talking about him and Meghan's relationship. It said, it is also claimed William has a notable short fuse. A close royal aide was also said to have revealed to Jobson. He can be a bit of a shouter when he loses it. However, the aide added, it is fair to say the Duke and Duchess give as good as they get if their disagreement results in raised voices. But they know each other well, and it usually blows over quickly, and she, on the whole, is a major comment influence on him. Again, because if you don't have context and you don't know that they were, this was under Kate like yesterday, and you saw this and you're talking about the Duke and Duchess, you would assume, rightly assume, or inadvertently, I should say, assume that they're talking about Harry and Meghan having shouting matches. And again, look, two humans together, I'm sure they've had their, disagreements or whatever, but nobody has ever said any of this stuff about their relationship. And we don't know, because we don't know what goes on behind their closed doors. And so they reference this article that Jobson wrote. And Jobson, Robert Jobson, wrote this article. And so this is the article, and they put a link to this article in that from that Mirror, and this is the article that they linked to. And if you look at the bottom, you look at the article that they linked to. This is an article from 2022, from 2 years ago. This is an article, again, from 2 years ago. And how did this article come about? Well, look at it. Daily Mail, how the weight of destiny and an epic fallout with Harry has brought William closer than ever to Charles. As the Duke of Cambridge, William, prepares to turn 40, Robert Jobson analyzes his transformation from the floppy-haired teen to a steely king in waiting. And as you can see my arrow, why is he doing this interview? Right, because he was promoting this book called William at 40. And I have read this book, so I know what's in there. This is a whole article, has nothing to do with Harry. It references Harry for a bit, but the whole thing was about William and his relationship with Kate. And again, but if you read that article, since that they switched it from the Mirror article, since they switched it from Kate to Harry, if you don't click this link, you don't know that what they're referencing to is not what this article is saying. What they're saying about Harry is totally not what this article was saying. And this is what the article says. And again, it's Robert Jobson did this article because he was promoting his book, William at 40. And so this is what the article says. To this day, Charles admits that he often finds it difficult to gauge both William and Harry's occasionally unpredictable moods. They can have quite extreme moods, just as Diana did, said a former courtier. She, Diana, could be your best friend one minute and the next your worst enemy. Again, they're referring to Diana. She could be your best friend one minute and the next your worst enemy. In private, the Duke of Cambridge, William, has a notable short fuse. His fiery temper can blow up at any time, usually when he's frustrated or when it comes to some issues regarding his family. Even senior members of his circle will check which way the wind's blowing before becoming too self-assured in his presence or raising problematic issues that might be better addressed at another time. Other insiders confide that William can be an emotional character who is on occasion difficult to handle. In common with other established couples, he and Catherine, whom he married in 2011, has been dating since around 2003, are known to have heated exchanges from time to time. He can be a bit of a shouter when he loses it, one aide admitted. It's fair to say the Duke and Duchess, William and Kate, give as good as they get if their disagreement results in raised voices. But they know each other so well, it usually blows over quickly. She is, on a whole, a major calming influence on him. The Mirror, who the Guardian was trying to get us to feel sorry for that they're going under, this article, and first of all, they put it all on Kate, claiming that she is the one that could be your best friend 1 minute and the worst enemy the next. I don't put it past her to BS, but they again linked to this article. And that is not what this article is saying. This article is blaming Diana, which again, the reason for her mood swings, the reason why she was going to having mental difficulty is because of how the palace treated her and what they were doing to her. And the courtier is saying, oh, she could be your best friend 1 minute, and the next minute your worst enemy. The Mirror took this and first put it on Kate, and then changed it. Instead of going back to the article and reading the article and see what the article says, oh no, let's make money. Let's put Harry's name in there. Let's keep everything else in the article and just switch it to Harry, because it's Harry. That's the person that is your best friend 1 minute and your worst the next. When that's not what Robert Jobson is saying here at all. And the rest of it, where it talks about, that William has a fiery temper, it like a blow up and everything. Or if you have been following this channel, we had entire episodes on here talking about William's temper. I think I did a whole episode talking about William's temper, and we spoke about exactly this, word for word, what this article is saying. And how I knew that, because all of this in there from, to this day, Charles admit he find it difficult to gauge William's and Harry's unpredictable moods. All of that stuff was in Robert Jobson's book, Charles at 70, that came out in 2018. That was when this was published. 2018 is when that was published, about Charles not having sometimes a clue to gauge how unpredictable and volatile their temper could be. Meanwhile, Charles is literally the same way, which at parts of the book they acknowledge that his temper, and his courtiers giving those interviews talking about Charles's temper, especially when he ripped out that bathroom sink to find a cufflink and all of that stuff. We know about Charles's explosive temper. But notice how they blame all of that on Princess Diana. This stuff was in his book, Charles at 70. This whole stuff about William's temper, that him blowing up into rage, where even his inner circle have to check which way the wind is blowing before they come into his presence and bring him anything that's difficult, about his fighting with Kate and all of that stuff, was in William at 40. I know, I read the book. It's a horrible book of nothing, but that was in there. We did a whole episode about, I think I named it like, we need to talk about William's temper or something like that. We talked about detail for detail William's behavior. That was in a book. Yesterday, the Mirror decided to take something that Robert Jobson talked about in 2018 and in 2022, when William at 40 was published, and publish it like it is news from yesterday. Again, this is an article, as you can see, it was from 2022. And then not only did they use this article and acting like if it's new news, is that they have taken things that he said about Princess Diana, unfairly said about Princess Diana, and first of all, labeled it on Kate. And then instead of seeing what they did and realize and saying like, okay, no, this is all wrong. We got this wrong. And instead of, taking down the article, then instead left, that article is up there to this moment, and just inserted Harry's name and claiming that Harry is the one that could be your best friend 1 minute and your worst enemy. And then all this other stuff that is really William and Kate's is now labeled on Harry and Meghan. And this is the news outlet that the Guardian is trying to tell us that it's like, oh, no, it's really good that they're here. It's really, really good that we need them for an election year. The same tabloid. And it's unbelievable. And then again, talk about earning your award for just the least trustworthy, the most unethical, lying press in the world. And of course, You can see that little editor's note there in the middle of these two photos. Editor's note. This is after they put the Kate one and then they switched it to Harry. And notice they didn't switch it to William, her husband. They switched it to Harry. A previous version of this story erroneously referred to Kate, the Princess of Wales, instead of Prince Harry. When this whole article, again, about that Robert Jobson wrote, based on his books, William at 40 and Charles at 70, about Prince William, which is, I mean, it literally mentions Harry one time there. Other than it says, they both can have extreme mood swing. The rest of the article is all about Prince William and his temper and his relationship with Kate and their fiery arguments. Which is why we started questioning, like, okay, what is really, I mean, is Kate really there for a physical, is she really in the hospital for a physical thing, or is it a mental thing? Because I refer back again, you drink a cup of salt or swallow a cup of salt before you believe anything from Angela Levin. But again, I go back to why she used that example. And then you see this from yesterday. And again, and also, it turns out someone posted something right before I came on where the Mirror posted a version of that article on the 7th. Again, talking about Kate's and William's, their fiery relationship, basically. And so they posted it on the 7th of January and then redid it again. And then I guess they were called out for it because when they put up this article, they would have had to have a call from the palace, and then they changed it. And so it's just like it boggles the mind. It absolutely boggles the mind that these people do this. And they get away with it. And then they get people in mainstream media trying to convince you that the world needs some, a paper like the Mirror or some unethical, deplorable paper like the Daily Mail. Case in point, Daily Mail. Online trolls attacking William for looking after his wife and children are so spiteful, says William mouthpiece Rebecca English. Same paper. The Sussex are like two limpets sucking nutrients from the rusty hull of the royal yacht. Same paper. One is like, oh, how dare you attack? How dare online trolls, which they cultivated, attack our beautiful white princess? Same paper had no problems attacking the Sussexes and calling them limpets sucking nutrients of the rusty hull of a royal yacht. Same despicable paper as Edwin Harewood, who has been calling out this thing and calling out the press for like a couple of years now, I think. According to the Daily Mail, online trolls attacking William and Kate, wrong. Massive paper, same one, Daily Mail. Attacking Harry and Meghan on the front page, right. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I'm telling you, these people have earned their most despicable, lying, zero ethics, deplorable cesspool award. They earn it. They absolutely earn it. And if you didn't know before, why they are the press of the British royals. You know why they are the ones that they want on their royal rota. I literally can't believe why people have these news outlets still functioning. And then to have the Guardian throwing a pity party over why the Mirror needs to be in the toilet. Every single one of these outlets need to be, and frankly, with the Guardian doing that, maybe they need to follow as well. And if you're wondering why these papers would never change, well, there you go. There you go. Anyways, ending on a positive note, away from that mess, staying in the UK, because, not everybody in the UK are just deplorable, despicable human beings and despicable outlets. The After by Missan has just been nominated for the NAACP Image Award for Outstanding Short Form Live Action Film. And so the awards are coming in for The After. So congratulations to Missan. Congratulations to David Oyelowo. it's wonderful to see how this film is just being lauded, applauded, and just embraced. And so we look forward to you winning the Image and the Oscars. So yeah, so congratulations, Misan. Great to end this with a, something that is positive. Anyways, that's it, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you to our awesome moderators, Lydia Church, Nelly, Karen M, Cookies and Cream, and Black Queen. You are awesome. Thank you to our wonderful 2 Cents crew who support the channel on a monthly basis. Thank you all so very much for your support. I appreciate it in every way, shape, and form. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And to all of you who support in the chat, whether it's donation, PayPal, Cash App, I appreciate it. Or getting super stickers, super chat, all of that stuff. Thank you, or super thanks. Thank you, thank you, thank you all. And if you're here and you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and click the notification bell so you know when we drop a video. Please like and share the video. And join the 2 Cents crew if you can. That would be awesome. So anyway, guys, I love you all. Have a fantastic day, and I will chat with you next time. Bye.